What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks for Sunday, April 14th. Well, guys, another day, another pretty big slate of games in Europe, from the EPL to the French League One and the MLS. Bundesliga has a couple of games, and it could be a title deciding game for Leverkusen, of course. Italian Serie A has a few great games as well, and of course, Spanish LaLiga is included in this video also. At the end of this video, you can get another parlay of the day. It's another five legger. This one is over plus 480, if I'm not mistaken. I decided to go a little bit bolder into this one, and hopefully, this one's going to be a nice winner for us as well. In the separate video, you can find a couple of MLS picks that we have on Sunday. We have Atlanta and Philadelphia, and St. Louis and Austin are facing off. And like I said, you can find those in a separate video. For my best bets, of course, you can click the link in the description. That will get you up to my page where you can sign up. Of course, you can get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. And have in mind that those long-term passes are the way to go right now because we do have the Champions League on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Europa League and Conference League on Thursday once again. Like I said, guys, it's another pretty big slate of the soccer games in Europe, and we are going to kick it off with the EPL as we usually do. Liverpool is hosting Crystal Palace, and they will be looking to bounce back after that horrible performance against Aston Villa, not Aston Villa, that horrible performance against Atalanta in the Europa League, where Liverpool lost 3-0 at home. Uh, but in the EPL, they are still in the title race. They are even with Arsenal right now on points. They have only 1 point uh, over Manchester City. But have in mind that I'm recording this video before the games on Saturday have kicked off. But Liverpool at home so far this season in the EPL, 13 wins, 3 draws, and 0 losses. They haven't lost to Crystal Palace in any of their last 6 home games, while Crystal Palace hasn't won any of their last 11 games on the road. So everything is pointing towards Liverpool, and it's going to be very much a different performance than the one they had in the Europa League. They simply have to go for the win, and I think they will get it. Now, with that in mind, I don't think that Liverpool can keep a clean sheet right now. I know that Crystal Palace hasn't been at their best on the road, but I think they can score a goal here. Liverpool's defense is a little bit sloppy. Even though they will dominate this game, I think that that Crystal Palace will find themselves in a decent amount of chances to score a goal. So I'm taking Liverpool to win and both teams to score at plus 147. For our next matchup, guys, we have West Ham hosting Fulham in the EPL, and West Ham is also coming off of a loss to Leverkusen 2-0 in the Europa League. Uh, I don't know, you get to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, and then you go to play against probably one of the best teams in Europe right now, which is Leverkusen, and all you do is try and defend. I don't think you can win games like that. I simply have a different philosophy about stuff like that when it comes to games like that, and I was highly disappointed in West Ham. They certainly have enough quality to go toe to toe with Bayer Leverkusen. I know that Leverkusen is outstanding this season, but West Ham had only one shot in that game, and that happened in like second minute or third minute of a game. And after that, they basically didn't touch the ball for 88 minutes or whatever. They ended up losing that game, and now they have to get back on the winning track in this one. And if they want to have a chance of beating Leverkusen at home, I think that something miraculous would have to happen in that game. Fulham, on the other side, hasn't won any of their last 3 games right now, but in the attacking end, they're still a very solid team. And when playing on the road, they have scored at least a goal in each of their last 4 or 5 games in a row, and I think that they will do it here as well. So, with all that in mind, guys, I'm taking both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 118. Arsenal is hosting Aston Villa, and they are heavy, heavy favorites against a very solid Aston Villa team who's coming off of a win against Lille 2-1 in the Conference League. But then again, Arsenal is the team fighting for the title in the EPL this season, and they have been outstanding at home with 12 wins, 2 draws, and only 1 loss so far this season. Also, when we look at the injury reports, Aston Villa is missing a few players, and they could definitely use those players because you need all the quality you can get against a team like Arsenal. But I think that I don't know. Arsenal is certainly not going to let this game go for sure. They need a win. But then again, they have a very big matchup against Bayern Munich in the Champions League next week. So have that in mind when you're placing your bets. Uh, and that's probably the only reason why I'm not taking Arsenal to win here. I'm gonna go with both teams to score because Aston Villa is playing pretty well right now. They are a solid team. They can score goals. They can compete with the best teams in the EPL, and they will compete here against Arsenal as well. So, Arsenal versus Aston Villa, both teams to score. In Spanish La Liga, guys, we have a few interesting games. Starting off with Las Palmas and Sevilla, and I'm gonna keep this one very very simple. Las Palmas hasn't won any of their last 6 games, and they haven't won any of their last 7 games against Sevilla. As a matter of fact, Sevilla has won the last 7 straight against Las Palmas. So. To keep it simple, I think that Sevilla is a slightly better team, even though their form has been all over the place this season. I'm going to take advantage of the great price we are getting, and I'm going to take Sevilla on the money line at plus 170. Athletic Bilbao and Villarreal could be a very interesting game, and after finally winning a trophy after like 40 years, Athletic Bilbao is in a great form right now. They are in a great mood. The morale is pretty high up, and they're still fighting for the Champions League spot in La Liga. They are just behind Atletico Madrid, and there are enough games left this season that Athletic Bilbao, if they can stay somewhat consistent, that they can qualify for the Champions League. Villarreal is also on a nice and positive streak when it comes to, well, actually, they lost in their last game, but before that, they were on a nice winning streak. They were scoring goals. However, they have one big problem, and that is their defense. They simply cannot keep a clean sheet. If that happens, it's an anomaly, and they basically just concede more next week. And with that in mind, both teams to score an over 2.5 at plus 102. That seems like a pretty good steal to me, and I think it's going to be a nice winner for us. Real Sociedad is hosting Almeria in the last La Liga game we have to talk about, and Real Sociedad is now in the sixth place. In the sixth place, and they are fighting for the Europa League and the Conference League. However, they have about a 7 point gap between themselves and Athletic Bilbao, and they need a win here. Uh, they are the home team here. I see that I have the emblems switched, so sorry about that. But Almeria is the worst team in the league. They have conceded 60 goals in 30 games this season, and when playing on the road, they haven't won a single game. Actually, they do. They have one win, two draws, and 12 losses while conceding 32 goals in 15 games. I think that in the current form that Bilbao is, which is a 3 game winning streak, I think that they will get another win here. And the only matter is we have to find some value out of this. So I'm going to go with Real Sociedad minus 1.5 at minus 102. In German Bundesliga, we have Darmstadt hosting Freiburg, and I'm keeping this one very, very simple, guys. Darmstadt is losing games left and right, dropping points everywhere. They are at the bottom of the table. They are getting relegated. There's no hope for them at all. While Freiburg on the other side, is still dreaming of that Conference League spot, and they're now 6 points away. So uh, I'm gonna take Freiburg on the money line. Keep it simple, minus 115. They are the better team in a better form, and overall, they have been far more consistent this season. So I'm taking Freiburg on the money line. Bayer Leverkusen is hosting Werder Bremen in what could potentially be a title-winning game for them. Uh, Leverkusen at the top of the table, they have a huge advantage. There's no way they're losing it. They will be winning the title this season. The only question is whether they're going to do it here in this game or maybe next week or something like that. Offensively, outstanding 69 scored goals in 28 games, only 19 conceded goals, by far the best defensive team in the league. Nobody's even close to them. Like literally, the next team has 14 goals conceded more than Leverkusen, and they are undefeated. They are undefeated in their last 45 games. They have beaten West Ham in the Europa League 2-0. And honestly, and I don't think that's an strange things to say or exaggeration or whatever. I think that Leverkusen might win the treble this season by staying undefeated. So they will win Bundesliga by staying undefeated, in my opinion. They are that good. They are playing in the DFB Pokal against a second division team. And with the way they have been playing in the Europa League, I honestly would not be surprised if they stay undefeated and win that competition as well. So, yeah, I do believe that Leverkusen can win the treble without a single loss this season. So, uh, as far as this game goes, I think that they will win. I think that they will win the title here in this one. But then again, they are huge favorites, so we have to look for some value. And I decided to go with Leverkusen over 7.5 shots on target at plus 105. In the Italian Serie A, guys, we have a few interesting games, and we are going to start it off with Napoli and Frosinone. Napoli finally got a win last week, and it was harder than it should have been, in my opinion, but it was a 4-2 win for them against Monza on the road, and I think that they will continue winning after this game as well. Frosinone hasn't won any of their last, 9 games in a row. Defensively, they are a mess, and they are really not that good when it comes to scoring goals as well. So I'm gonna take Napoli to win and over 2.5 goals at minus 128. Sassuolo and Milan is another interesting matchup, and Milan is on a huge winning streak in Serie A. However, they are coming off of a loss to Roma in the Europa League, and we'll see how shaken they are and how that lineup is going to look like because they're playing the reverse fixture in the Europa League next week on the road, I might add. Sassuolo, on the other side, is in the relegation zone right now. However, they are only 2 points away from safety, and I think that there's still enough time for them to get to the safety. But with the way they have been playing, especially defensively this season, I don't know. They would need to change a lot, and they would need to outscore all of their opponents if they want to stay in the league. In the head-to-head matchups, we have seen over 2.5 hitting pretty often. We have seen both teams scoring in some instances. And because Milan has played earlier this week and they're playing next week, I think that Sassuolo will try to do something in this. And they have no chance of getting a positive result if they will try to defend. I think, in my opinion, the only way to get points out of this game is to try and score a goal and then hope that Milan won't have an effective day. And with that in mind, I'm going to take both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 105. Udinese is hosting Roma, and I think this is going to be a tough game for both teams. Roma, like I said, is coming off of a win against Milan. They're flying pretty high. They're fighting for the Champions League spot. Since De Rossi took over this team, they have been playing better and better with every game. While Udinese on the other side is pretty far away. Well, not pretty far away, but they are above the relegation zone right now. And I think that they are good enough to stay in the league. And I think that they can do something in this game as well. I think it's going to be, like I said, a hard battle between two teams who will mostly, in my opinion, focus on defensive end here, especially Udinese. And because of that, I'm going to give this one a shot at the draw at plus 230. And the last game of the Italian Serie A is between Inter and Cagliari. Inter is marching towards the title. They have a huge advantage now at the top of the table, 14 points. And I think that with a win here, they will secure that title. Cagliari on the other side, far away from the relegation zone, above it by 5 or 6 points. But then again, there's enough games left. If they can't win any more games or get a few points, they will bring themselves to a lot of danger and they could potentially risk their Serie A status. I think this is going to be a fairly one-sided game. I know that Inter is missing a few players, but they have been playing incredibly well. They are scoring goals, and they are the most dominant team in Serie A this season. So this is the pick that we have taken a few times with Inter Milan, and I'm going to take it again. Inter -1 in the first half at plus 125. Like I said, and like I always say, I think the least we're going to get out of this one is going to be the push. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see a 2-0, maybe even 3-0 lead at halftime for Inter Milan. In the French League One, guys, we have Lyon hosting Brest. It is the only game we're going to talk about in the French League One because a few games got postponed. Monaco and Lille is postponed. Lorient and PSG is postponed, and Marseille and Nice is also postponed. I'm thinking because all these teams have been playing in the Europa League and they are playing in the Europa League and the Champions League next week as well. So they are being given a break here, which is, I guess, a nice thing to do from the League One. Lyon and Brest, a very interesting matchup. Brest in the second place right now. They are fighting to stay in that Champions League spot, which would be probably the biggest success that this club has ever had. And what's keeping them there is their solid defense. Only 23 conceded goals in those 28 games, while scoring about a goal and a half on average. And they are in a very solid form right now. They haven't lost any of their last three games, but then again, Lyon is also playing pretty well right now, and they are climbing the standings, and potentially they could get to that Conference League spot, maybe even Europa League spot, if they can stay consistent for the rest of the season. Uh, Lyon is not scoring as many goals, and they have conceded a lot more because they were so bad in the first half of the season. But their current form is absolutely outstanding, and I don't think that either side can keep a clean sheet here. Both sides have a lot to play for. And with that in mind, I'm taking both teams to score at minus 125. That's it for the single pick, guys. Now we are up to the parlay of the day. It's a five-legger, like I said. I'm taking Liverpool to win it over 1.5 goals. I'm taking Real Sociedad on the money line. Leverkusen win and over 2.5 goals. Now we are moving on to the MLS. I'm taking St. Louis and Austin over 2.5 goals. And in the Danish Super League, and I'm gonna take Broby on the double chance. They are playing against all Aarhus, I think. But the fact is that Broby is fighting for the top spot, and they need a positive result out of this game. So, like I said, Liverpool and over 1.5. Real Sociedad money line. Leverkusen win and over 2.5. St. Louis versus Austin over 2.5 goals. And Broby on the double chance in the Danish Super League. Five leg parlay pays out at plus 489. It's a bigger than the one we had on Saturday. But I like it a lot. I'll go with a full unit on it, and hopefully we make a nice chunk of change off this parlay as well. That's it, guys. Have a great day. Have a great Sunday. Good luck with all of your bets, of course. And stay tuned for more free picks coming up soon.